So you talked
So,
a bit before about like cons taking quite a bit of time. What
yeah.
is the setup time kind of like for you? Like when you know you're going to go to something, like how long does it take you to get prepared for it, and then like sort of how much time does that really like eat out of your sort of year?
Yeah, it is interesting. Being just me,
Mhm.
it can take a while. So it can vary. And I know there are times where I've been like, okay, the game is in this state and say PAX is in 3 months' time.
Mhm.
So I've got 3 months to get it to a particular level. And then I'm making choices about what can I achieve in that time.
Mhm.
Um, AVCon was for me. I was felt pretty slightly unprepared this year.
Okay.
I tried to give myself a lot of time, but I agreed to do a lot of things, and they
Right.
all happened to be in the same
Right.
month. It turned out basically. So right before AVCon, I went on holiday.
Oh,
I went to Fiji for
oh,
nearly two
nice.
weeks with my family. So, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll do some work there, perhaps.
I'm gonna work
Um,
in Fiji. How did that one go for you?
well, a couple of days it rained, and I did do a little bit
Okay,
of work, and
fair,
I'm glad
fair.
that I did because I sat down on one day and I fixed this bug that had been bothering me for weeks, and I was like, great, that bug's fixed. Go back to bed. So, um, there was a couple of long nights right before AVCon, just because, like I say, I'd been so deep in the weeds of all this stuff, I hadn't for a long time been approaching the game as a new player. And I'd
Mm,
just been sort of smashing myself in and out of it with all the debug tools and everything turned on. So it kind of became time to turn all that off and
right.
go back to a new player experience
Mhm.
and find out what I'd actually broken doing all that, and
Uh-huh.
what new features or what parts of the tutorial were now suddenly completely irrelevant,
Mhm.
and so on. So that happened uh, very quickly. But, I mean, I'm sort of one of those people that will fill what time I've been given to some extent. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
do need to give myself deadlines for those kinds of things, which conventions can function as a good
Mm.
kind of deadline that's not a release deadline, but it's still
Mhm.
like a public thing
Right,
that
right.
you've got to, you got to take it out. It's got to work in a particular way. It's getting easier for me now because the kind of the first mission and tutorial now has become a good demo example.
Mm.
Um, Whereas in the past, it was more kind of like I was kind of making specific missions that would try and
Okay,
show
yep,
off
yep, yep.
all the parts of the game in a short amount of time. But really, it's kind of like from doing those and interacting with people playing with those, I've been able to go and improve the experience
Mhm. Mhm.
overall
Mhm.
and make a better first mission that works well as a good introduction to the game. So yeah, I mean they definitely take a lot of time. But yeah, you are in that position that if you are like a month out from a convention, there are just bits of the code that I would be like, do not touch.
Right.
Do not touch any of that stuff because if you break it, it could take you could lose a whole week fixing it. And you need that week for polishing. You need that week for doing things like making poster art and
Right, yeah.
stuff like that, and
Mhm.
making sure you've got a YouTube trailer or whatever,
Mhm.
and posting on the socials and all those kinds of
Mhm.
things. So that if you've got a team and you've got someone to do that, that's great. I'm always envious of those people uh, who come and they'll do like they'll be at the con for like 2 hours and then they're like, I'm tired, I'm going
Mhm.
because there's somebody else who's going to replace me.
Right,
And I was
right,
like, oh
right.
bye, I'll still be here for 3 days or
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's fun. I really enjoy it. But it's one of those things. I can't remember the exact. Do you know the different kinds of fun? The three different kinds of fun.
I've definitely heard this phrase before, but I'm not remembering them.
Uh yeah. There's There's fun, which is enjoyable during and after. That's type 1, standard fun.
Mhm.
Type 2 fun, which is challenging or even miserable in the moment, but appreciated in retrospect.
Mhm.
And type 3 fun, which is not enjoyable at all. Um,
Mhm.
and so cons can be a bit of the type 2. A bit.
Mhm.
There is. I would add my own one to that, which is the kind of fun that is fun in the moment and is fun afterwards, but is utterly terrifying in the immediately before. So when in the lead up is just like, why am I doing this?
Like the whole, stage fright sort of deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just like, being exhausted. I'm so tired. Why did I
Right.
say that I would do this? I have to do all these things to get
Right.
myself there. And then
Like
eventually you get yourself there.
Mhm.
And, for 10 minutes, you're standing around thinking, oh, God, what did I get myself into? And then it's fun.
Right, like
And it's fun for the rest
I'll
of the
hear from
time.
comedians who are doing like a theater show or like a arena show, right? Like they're super nervous initially, but they know they love comedy. So as soon as they get on
Yes.
stage, it's amazing. But like that
Yep.
immediate beforehand, they like it horrible.
Yes, it is like that. Yes. And it's just always the night before the con starts. I'm always like, I'm up really late fixing
Do I have a bug that I didn't
I've said
realize?
I'm always like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never going to be up late fixing something again. I'm always up late fixing something or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
rewriting dialogue or something. I think this time I added all this backstory stuff. I was like, I don't know if anyone even looked at it, but I was like, oh, I'll put in a little button you can click and just kind of read entries at your own leisure. So that is, in fact, one of the other rewards is in the game is the lore reward, where you just unlock kind of entries to read, and I enjoy writing them, and I gather from Dark Souls and that kind of stuff is people enjoy reading them. They enjoy going through item descriptions and all that kind of stuff. So, so a lot of those that you can read about the world in there as you play.
I think there can be
And,
some issue with games that sort of rely too heavily on that, where it's sort of unclear what's happening in the game unless you read everything. Like Dark Souls gets away with it because it is, so like the people who wrote Dark Souls, they are like really talented writers. A lot of people think they are like, there's people that they think they're George R.R. Martin, right? Like they think they're all these amazing writers, but like in reality,
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully I'm not one of them. I don't think I'm an amazing writer, but I just try. It's you got to think a lot about all the time. Working with not to get nerdy on you, but working with a monospaced font forces you to really think about how many characters are in a line, how long a line of text can be before somebody gets bored, and how big a block of text can be before somebody's eyes go and drift off. Because I do it too, I'll be like, oh, that's too much text. It is easier to read, I think, variable width Times New Roman or something. So the monospace can be a bit tiring, but it's kind of a benefit because it makes you just keep everything as kind of short and sweet. And I think that improves the writing. So even with the little text log, I've just got basic rules that are like, don't have a paragraph of text longer than the log, because I don't want them to sit there clicking all through the text.
Yeah.
So you do just keep it. You can have a couple of pages, but yeah, you're generally trying to keep it as short as
like you don't want to feel like you're sort of doing this lore dumping thing constantly.
No, I don't want to do that. And there is lore, and so it is. I like to put it aside. So there's two parts of the game, right? There's out on a mission, putting my proxies through these trials and leveling them up and killing the vandals and doing all that kind of stuff. The sort of the strategy element where you're in the moment, you're having fights, you're managing your resources and all that kind of stuff. When you're not doing that, you are in what I call an apartment simulator. So you are the person in the world who's kind of behind the screen, who's doing this, and you can sort of interact with that world a bit. So you can actually leave your apartment and you can go to the 7-Eleven and you can like purchase items. A bit like Monster Hunter. You can go and you can
Mm.
you can buy yourself an energy drink and a ramen from the vending machine. And then say the energy drink will give you like an extra turn in the next mission and so forth. So there are some benefits to going and doing this. Or if you go explore that world, you might unlock a new contact that has new and different kinds of jobs in the world for you. The point was, yeah, so one of the activities in that side of the world, that's like the downtime. Because I like a game that has like a home base that I can downtime in. So one thing I played those, I know these are old now, the Uncharted games, the first two of those. And sort of the problem that I have with that entire style of game, sort of full stop, is that lack of downtime.
Right.
It's just kind of this constantly moving forwards, always moving forwards, from scene to scene to scene to scene, like a movie. And but for me, I like a game that, if you're talking Souls, I'm returning to the Nexus or the Firelink Shrine or something like that, where I've got a kind of a home base I can go back to and chill out.
It's a very different kind of game, but like racing games do this quite well as well, where you have the race and then you'll go back to wherever the upgrade shop is, the paint shop, and go and customize the
garage.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. Yes. Yeah. And you do that. That is a bit, so you are going back in this, you're customizing your crew. I do want to have a bit of, there's a little music player in your apartment, so you can cycle through the different sort of background musics there. And the plan is to unlock music from the game, so you can listen to it in there, and do different things. I was going to do a couple of little games on the PC there, like blackjack, and I should do that Star Trek one. I should put that in there or something like that. Some of those old games. Yeah.
I do think that's cool. Like, again, as much as these are very scope creepy things, they are really cool. It's just a matter of how long do you want to spend on the project, right?
Yes.